Apparently Matthew McConaughey and Jared Leto were like, hey, why don't we just be in a movie where we're really freaking skinny, both of us? And they're like, okay, let's do it. All right, all right, all right. Dallas Buyers Club is a movie that I have been wanting to see for a while. I've heard a lot of great buzz about it, namely the acting. Matthew McConaughey's in this film, Jared Leto's in the film. It's a true story about a man who contracts AIDS, and he decides to use this horrible situation as a way to benefit others. He figures out a way to kind of ride the line of the law and get certain vitamins and minerals and things like that that aren't quite approved by the FDA into the hands of people who can't afford them, or into the hands of people that the hospitals are not giving them these things. And the only way they can do that is to create this Dallas Buyers Club. This thing where they don't actually pay him for these unapproved drugs. They pay for a membership to him, and then he gives them the drugs for free. So the movie's basically about this guy's plight, his fight for his own health and others, and a fight against the system, kind of the hospital system and the FDA. It's also a story about how he becomes friends with people that he normally wouldn't have thought of as friends in the past. This is a really good movie, and it's the kind of movie that is extremely hard to watch. And rarely do I encounter films like that. Usually a film that's hard for me to watch is just one that's unnecessarily grotesque. This movie is so realistically dirty where you're just like, of course he got AIDS. Like, they're showing the things that he did before he contracted AIDS, and you're like, yeah, I can completely understand why this guy got AIDS, because he just led the worst, most filthy lifestyle you can imagine. And Matthew McConaughey's look, how gaunt he was, how skinny he was, how frail, it just sold it. This is the best performance I've ever seen from that actor, and not just because of his weight loss. He just did such a great job as this guy. I completely bought this character, and I felt for him, you know? It really is realistic. It really sells its own time and space. This movie is very good at making you feel like you are watching a real location, real people interacting in it. It really understands the time and space that it's in. Also fantastic is Jared Leto in this movie. Leto, whatever. I like his music. I like his performances. In this movie, that is a performance right there. Because, again, there were times in the movie where I actually started to think of his character as a woman. And it was very impressive that he pulled that off, because that is something that, yeah, you can't really fool me with that. And yes, I knew that it's Jared Leto, but he just was a woman in this movie. He did such a terrific job with his performance. Now, the movie isn't flawless. It has inconsistencies in tone. There are times when it jumps from sort of lighthearted to very dark, and it feels very rushed sometimes, where it goes through those tonal shifts. Jennifer Garner is in the movie, and I don't really have anything against her, but I didn't really feel like she was on the same level as the other actors in the film either. The movie has a very handheld style, and I think it may have benefited from a more steady hand behind the camera. Nevertheless, Dallas Buyers Club is a film that really got into me, you know? It really got under my skin. And after the movie, I was driving home. I had like a 40-minute drive home from this theater, and I was just feeling it. I mean, like, I was feeling it. Like, it just was on my mind, and the weight of it was on my shoulders. And that's something you can always say about good movies, is when you leave the theater and you feel like discussing it with others, the various things it has to say about the Food and Drug Administration and hospitals, and how they don't really quite give patients always what they need, because there are certain things they're only approved to give. And this movie really delves deep into that, and there are times when it feels a little cliched, and certain characters feel like they're just sort of like this facade where they're not really a person, they're just supposed to be the evil hospital doctor guy. But the performances are so good that some of these things are overlooked, because the weight of these actors' portrayal of these characters is so strong. I'm gonna give Dallas Buyers Club a B+. I think it's a very good movie. It could have benefited from a little bit more of a steady direction. There are some tonal inconsistencies, but dear Lord, the acting is just out of this world. Matthew McConaughey has seriously turned his career around. I mean, every scene he was in with Jennifer Garner, I was like, they were in Ghosts of Girlfriends Past. He really has turned his career in a completely opposite direction. So guys, have you seen the movie? What do you think of the performances? Do you think they're award worthy? I do. Let me know below. And as always, guys, thanks very much for watching. And if you like this, you can click right here and get Stuckmanized.